Hello, hello, lovely people. Sorry, we had a bit of a long intro there. If hubby has turned on Instagram, the whole comment thing hasn't worked. So if you could come and rescue me, that would be wonderful. Hi, Sue. Hi, Pauline. Thank you, Pauline. Yes, it's our 24th wedding anniversary today. We went away for the weekend. So yes, I am working on my wedding anniversary, but we did have a lovely weekend. We went to Apple Palace Hotel and it was amazing. So yeah. It was so lovely. So how are you all? If you have seen my newsletter, there is a very, very small number of the Bumblebuzz Femina in stock, like literally single units. So if you didn't get hold of those, you might want to pop on now. And also the Large Oak Stencil, which is fabulous. And this sold out when we were on Create and Craft, and it's never actually been stocked on my website. So again, we've got a very small number of these, and that is what we are going to play with today. Thank you, Alison. Hello to anyone who has joined us on Instagram. I'm going to have to... Hi, Poppet902 and Deb, Bridget, Alistair, you are on. The comment thing hasn't worked, so if you could come and rescue me, that would be delightful. Thank you. And oh, Pauline, you got the ephemera packs. That is brilliant. So I thought today we could make a shaped journal page. I have already, because when I was prepping the show, I prepped loads of, I don't know if you can see that, loads of things where I use texture paste through the stencil. So we are going to use one of those and make a shaped page for this journal here, which is an MDF journal, which is also on my website. This is a Mad Hatter's one. Now, before we turn around and start crafting, I am going to be really, really cheeky and say, if you could share this live, it would be absolutely amazing. I got an award from Facebook today for being a content creator on the rise. So thank you for your help. This hubby is here to help. And yeah, so that would be awesome. And we will start crafting. I will swizz you round so you don't have to see him. Happy anniversary. You can fix my tech problems.
Hello,
right. Okay, let's swivel you guys around. Hang on. We will do, ooh, sorry about the strobing. There we go. Got the lighting sorted. So, yeah, I will just start crafting and hopefully no disasters will occur. You can, yeah, see there was no thing to reduce it. Oh, there it was. Okay. Yeah, it's just, hang on. I'll just talk to you. It was just me being an idiot. I have, yeah, I'll explain. It's all wonderful. The exciting thing is Create and Craft have decided that they are now going to do live streaming on their Facebook, and we can cross thingy. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got a system, I can do all of that. So I'm booked in to do a live on the Create and Craft page next Tuesday. Let's hope I've learned to do the tech better than that. Anyway, back to crafting. Like, this is the reason that we fiddle with the lighting, because I have that bright forehead. Anyway, while I'm on it, I've moved my rag here. While I'm on it, hello Debbie and Bridget and Rianne. Lovely to have all of you guys here on Instagram. That's fabulous. So this is the stencil, and what I've done with the stencil is I've used the Pretty Gets Gritty white texture paste, and I have put it like this, and then I've flipped it over and done it like that, so that we now have a very large tree. To Sue, thank you ever so much for dropping the links in the comments. That is greatly appreciated. Now let's see if I can. Hello Maxine, hello to everybody. This is so much fun. Right, I have got my decadent pies, because we've got gorgeous browns. Oh, my husband's being so sweet to me in the comments on Instagram. Right, we've got some gorgeous browns in here, which will be just fantabulous for our tree. So I'm going to let those activate, and we will see what we occur now. I just need to make sure because Instagram has a different frame, so I need to sort of make sure that you can all see what's occurring. That's a rock hard paintbrush. Right. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Pauline. Lovely to have you guys with us on Instagram. Right. I am going to grab some of these paints and I'm literally just going to randomly splodge some of them around this. I might do a second one because I plan to cut this out. But hello, Claire, how are you? I do plan to cut this out. But it might be nice to see one where we keep all the watercolours sort of dripping and moving about. I realise, for anyone that's tuned in just now, bear with. This will look amazing in just a minute. At this stage, it's just kind of like, what on earth does that woman think she's doing? You know, but bear with. Trust the process. You missed me at breakfast. I know, I can't believe we were staying at the same place. Honestly, I saw your post up on Instagram and I was like, oh my goodness, we're here too. We went to Athol Palace last month for afternoon tea. We were taking a friend, and as we were there, I was like, oh my word, wouldn't it be lovely to stay here? And our anniversary was coming up, so I kind of actually stopped dropping hints and just said, please, can you take me? And yeah. And then I was trying to let hubby know who you were. And I was saying, do you not remember when Kezia was born? You made us a egg carton, a decorated egg carton with all the eggs were little pairs of socks. And he's like, no, I don't remember that. So I was like, oh well. But yeah. I have to say, when we turned up and all the people were there with all the fancy cars, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a mad weekend. It's going to be really noisy and annoying. But actually, it was lovely. Yes, it was very bizarre. Had a lovely weekend. Did you enjoy it? It was a lovely place. We had a lovely time. We just kind of did a lot of walking and a bit of swimming. And did you try the Athol Palace gin while you were there? I definitely had to try that. Hello, Dominique, and hello, Bianca. Lovely to see you, ladies. Right, so once we have sprayed, see, I'm quite I really want to cut this out and make a shaped page, but I think we're going to have to do a second one because just marked my because I'm looking at that and I'm loving the drippage. Do love a bit of drippage. So yes, I think we will do another one here. Actually, I've got one that's already cut, and then we can. No, I'll do this one. Decisions. Right. We'll have two, and then we can just see how. It was very fancy. It was so nice. Yes. Okay, so once again, I'm just using a mixture of browns and greens, and we're just gonna slap it all on. And then basically let the water do the work for us. I'm so excited. Is that just water I'm spraying? Yes, Claire, it is. So I'm just putting a little bit of watercolour paint on. What went on first was texture paste. So I used this stencil. So this is the Large Oak Stencil. And we put white texture paste through that. Then it's just a little bit of watercolour paint, water, and then by spraying it, it activates the watercolour paint, and then we can just start to sort of move around and we get all kinds of really cool effects. And I love this because you have absolutely no control over what's occurring. You can't get it to go exactly where you want it to go. You just have to let it do its thing, and I think that's great because it's where we get all sorts of really interesting effects. See, I find that run there a little bit harsh, but even though that is just, look at that, it's so ethereal. That is just gorgeous. I'm really happy with that as is. So I'm just going to plonk that on the drying station, aka the floor, and we will return to that. And I'm going to waft this with a heat gun, and then we can see what we can create. Hello, Mum, how are you? So let's just waft this with a heat gun, and then we can do something with it. I'm just saying I waft it with a heat gun. Look, it's all tied up in knots, so let's let's just see what occurs. Right. We will get there. For those of you that are listening with earphones in, I am about to put the heat gun on in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Claire. Yeah, it's a really simple technique, but really, really effective. I'm just going to try and dry this a little bit so that we can cut into it. Sorry. Like, I start crafting and remember that I've got to chat at the same time. My brain can't do 2 things at once. Right, so just wafting this down. There we go, trying to dry it off. To be honest, if we weren't live, I would just be letting this dry naturally. I tend to, when I'm doing any form of mixed media or painting or anything like this, have a little bit of a production line going. Last week I was working on 4 different YouTube videos at the same time. I had about 6 mixed media projects on the go. It was kind of like you gel medium everything and then you gesso everything, and you have a little bit of a production line going on. So if I was doing this sort of thing, I would probably just like get a whole load of them done, leave them to the side to dry, and then approach them again the next day. But we're live, so you know, you don't want to sit here for 24 hours literally watching paint dry. So I'm thinking with this that what we can do is, if we get our scissors, I want to chop into it. I kind of do and I don't, because I think that looks gorgeous. Should we chop into that? Should we chop into it? We've got the other one, haven't we, for the drippage? But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Right, I'm actually going to get my guillotine because we do need somewhat of a straight edge because it will be going into a journal. So I'm going to try and make this as wide as possible. I'm going to take it to about here, I think. So I move this over because those of you on Instagram, we're in a slightly different window. Sorry, it's struggling a little bit because we basically have damp texture paste there. See, even the leftover bit looks good. That's so cute. Don't chop. Sorry, Claire, too late. Too late. Too late. Right. Let's grab us some scissors. We still have the other one. We still have the other one. I made a mess of my desk already. Right, so the plan is I'm going to chop round all of this. Right, but I'm going to make it easier for myself. If you actually chop away the main excess first, like this, it makes fussy cutting so much easier because you don't have as much excess. I don't know why it makes it easier, but it does. So we'll just chop away this first, and then we will refine it somewhat. Bits flaking all over me. Hello, Bex Crafts. Lovely to see you. Okay. So I'm going to just get closer to this. This looks very random at the moment. I do appreciate that. But hopefully something fairly interesting will occur. How are you this evening? Lovely to have you with us. Once again, I'm stopping talking. I'm going to have to do a bit better next week when I'm on Creating Crafts page, won't I? You'd have thought I'd have mastered the whole talking whilst crafting. It's the only time I'm ever quiet, to be honest. I think that's why my husband encourages the crafting quite so much. There we go. Hello, Sharon. How are you this evening? Lovely to have your company. So I'm thinking that in this journal, we can have like a page that's actually a tree. These are some stitched pages. I did them in my latest YouTube video. The Dawn and Julia creating. But anyway, that's by the by. So I'm thinking that this could be like a page in its own right, like this. Which could be cool. So, let's just decorate it up. I've pulled out, I have, hi Aisha, how are you? I have some caravans. And I have some woodland tots. And I thought we could, oh, I quite like that. I thought we could see what occurs. We might need to give the tree a bit more work. I think it's going to need some distress ink. Could have a car as well. Maybe not. I think just the caravan. Caravan's cool. I like the blue one, but let's just audition a few others. Oh, sorry, Instagram peeps. I will get used to this eventually. I still so yeah. Just gonna sometimes you should just stick with what you started with because you know you liked it. Right. And then we can start to add extra bits and pieces in. Not sure that the red is right, but we will see. We will see. Right, we also have a whole load of bits from the woodland tots. So I'm just going to dump all this. Do you know, the first thing I did this evening was to come in and tidy the place so that, you know, we could work from a tidy a tidy point. And I've messed that all up already. See, we could have some characters and things here. I don't know why a hedgehog would be in a caravan. Does that work? Or we could have a little girl. Little Lady Oaks. She's cute. And then we've got a little frog. Hi Alison, who joined us over on Instagram. Oh, we have a deer. I was honestly thinking it needs a hedgehog. So the hedgehog has to come back. So we have the big hedgehog then. We could take away the girl. We could have a big hedgehog. The hedgehog's on his hollybobs. Or we've got little baby hedgehog. Like that. You could have a deer in the background. Maybe not. Right, let's just get some florals and bits and bobs in here, and then we need to sort of address the tree as well. I think it's going to need some leaves and things. I'm just sifting through. Bexcraft, you love the hedgehogs. Okay, let's stick with the hedgehogs. That seems to be fairly unanimous. Right, I'm putting lots of bits and bobs in there, and I feel that we need some leaves. We might have to cut some out. We've also got a little mole. Right. Nonsense is occurring. Oh, I think we should have... Maybe we should just take the caravan out and do that on another page. Yeah, I think that works better. What do we think? I like that actually. Hello Sabine, how are you? So you're liking the spring theme. I'm thinking this looks quite cute. We just need some leaves on the trees. I may have to go and get some stuff to add some leaves, but you know, that works. This looks a bit random like this as well, but eventually there'll be a second page in the journal. Claire loves it. Be a second page, oh sorry, second page in the journal that'll be behind it, which could be quite cool. We could possibly even bring in the other page that we've done. I don't know. We'll work it out. We will work it out as we go. Yeah, I like this. I think this is good. Let's maybe stick with this. That is cute. Right, let's just go for that. I think what we need to do is we need to get a little bit more detail on to the actual tree. So I am going to just take this away just now, and let's bring in some distress inks. Oh, you could do Erica, that would be fab. An acetate page behind. Ooh. Yes, that might be for another day because I'll have to locate my acetate. But yeah, absolutely, that would be gorgeous. Right, let's get some distress inks in. Hello, Sharon. Okay. I am going to just add, this is going to bring out some of the texture now as well. We're going to get a little bit more in detail. We may also want to consider some dry brushing. But I think that is quite fab. I think that's working quite well. And we really need to, I'm actually just going to take the ink pad directly to the edges here because we need it a lot stronger. Look at that, brings out the texture though. Gorgeous. So I'm working quite hard here because I am wanting to get a lot more colour on this side so that we have shades and tones of it. Let's bring in some green as well, I think, just on this side. She says if she can find some green, that would be very, very useful. I've got a twisted citron here. It's not the best green. Right, crap, stash it. It'll do. It'll do. Hello, Yaz. Is it Yaz Moreno? Lovely to have you with us. Right, let's get some greens on this side. Hello. Is it Nicorosdale? Sorry, in Instagram, it gives me your Instagram handle, so if it's not your name, I'm very sorry. Please feel free to share your name in the comments and I will try and do a better job of saying hello. I'm just adding a little bit of green there, just for interest, quite frankly. Right. There we go. The other thing we could do is pull our paints back in and just try and get a little bit, rather than just let the water do its thing, we could just use it to add some definite shadowing. So let's just see if I just really want to deepen this edge. I think things look far more realistic when we have proper light and shade. So let's just get a lot more darkness into this particular side. And hopefully that should just bring it to life a little bit. We might have to waft that with the old heat gun again, but that's okay. What has everybody been up to today? Have you had a fun day? After this, I am off on a walk with my friend Rebecca. We are trying to walk more this month. I did a lot of walking while I was in Pitlochry at the weekend. We were at Atholl Palace, as you may have heard Eric and I talking. Yeah, and they have extensive grounds, so we did loads of walking. It was lovely. Right, that's better. Got a little bit more shade into the tree. It's a little bit stripy, but hey ho. My mum's been gardening. Excellent. And Pauline's been making a journal. Ooh, very nice. Is it a junk journal, or have you been working in a... Bex has been crafting as well. Have you been, is it a junk journal, Pauline? Oh, you've been making journal pages. Very good. That just sounds wonderful. Crafting and making journal pages sounds wonderful. Gardening, not so much. Sorry, Mum. Gardening's just not really my thing. I do apologise. You made pizzas and swatched your Oh, I do love a bit of swatching. So important to swatch your products. Really is. It makes such a difference if you have them all swatched out. Right, I'm actually going to grab my gel medium for the next stage. Normally oh, Sue, you're at work. I am sorry. Unfortunately, it's a necessity of life, isn't it? This whole work malarkey. Right. Cool. I am much happier with that. That is fab. I am just once again going to grab my ink pad and sort of directly add a little bit of extra just on this side. It also brings out the texture, which I think is awesome. That looks far more like a tree now. Hello, Nanalyn. How are you? Right, so let's just grab some gel medium. So as I was saying, I am going to use gel medium. Normally my glue of choice I quite often use is this one, the Nuvo, but because we are working onto a textured surface, the gel medium literally sticks anything to anything. And the reason gel medium is so fabulous is that it has an element of flex. So if you're working with any sort of paper project or MDF or anything like that, it will gradually expand and contract. So it's the same way if you put in wooden floors or a door or anything like that, you have to give it leeway to expand and contract. This glue has that element of flex, so it will do that. If not, and you use the likes of a glue gun, you will get a temporary fix, and a very quick temporary fix, but a glue gun is brittle, so as you get that expanding and contracting, that is when you get things happen to pop off your project, which is just a little bit irritating when you've spent time trying to do it. So I think we're going to go for something like that. Hi Nanalyn, how are you? You've managed to get some wildlife photography done at the weekend. Oh, lovely. Your photography is brilliant, Sue. You're a very good photographer. Right, let's just get some of this gel medium down here and let's start building this up like so. I do like making shaped pages. It just makes things just ever so much slightly more interesting. I'm not sure why, but I like it. Right, get that there. Oh, he's so cute, this guy. I love him. So this is part of the Woodland Tots collection. A little hedgehog is part of that. Right. Oh, a little cutie. Cutie patootie. Thank you. Your next photography. Oh, we saw a red squirrel the weekend. We were at it was lovely. It's so cute. My in-laws used to live out in the country near Nairn, and they had red squirrels in their garden, so I kind of got used to seeing them all the time, and now they don't live there anymore, but you don't see the red ones as often. Thankfully in Scotland, north of Scotland, we do get quite a lot of red squirrels, which is nice, but they are just gorgeous creatures. You're jealous. We are very lucky. We see lots of different wildlife where we are. Very, very appreciative of it. Right. Just sort of tucking this in and seeing what occurs. I think I do want this here because it provides a little bit of greenery, but then I think it's going to need something on top as well. Oh, that's so cute. I'm going to bring this flower. The other thing about gel medium is it does have a little bit of a drying time, so there is a little bit of wiggle room for you to change your mind. So that's now covered in glue, so we'll do you there. There we go. Well, that's come together fairly quickly. Oh, it's so cute. I'm happy. I'm happy. I feel, do we need, I'm trying to see what leaves I've got to see if we could put something in the tree, like a little ladybird. A little blue ladybird, because they're real. They're real in my world. And then we've got a normal coloured ladybug. I do feel we need some leaves. Have I said that already? I feel like I'm getting a little bit obsessive about leaves. There should be, I should have leaves in here. I don't know if I've used them all up or what. I'll have to go grab some. Oh, got some little acorns. Let's cut them out. This weekend at your bird table had a grey squirrel, 2 pheasants and songbirds. Ooh, very nice. Right, so I'm going to cut some of these little acorns out. I'm just trying to see what we can make. I feel like we need... maybe not. Maybe just have these down here. Oh, sorry guys on Instagram. There we go. I'll pop you back up there. Now I'm just fussy cutting things out. As I said, if we had a second page, I will prepare it, because the trouble is, although it's an absolutely fabulous idea and I absolutely want to do it, I think we need like leaves and things coming from here. But if it was on an acetate page behind, that would be great. But I also need a chance to prepare the bits that I would use, if that makes sense, and that would take an age. So I think that might have to be for another day. But that's okay, because we all just love crafting and we do this on a regular basis. So every Monday I am going to be live here. And as I said, I've just started going to be doing lives on the Create and Craft Facebook page too. So that'll be next Tuesday. Right, I think we might be able to call this done. What do we think? Yeah. So what we will do now is put that paintbrush in water before we destroy it, like we have with many, many others. And then I'm going to pull my journal back in. And we're doing well. Only half an hour in, we've almost completed something. That's amazing. I'm going to pull my journal back in and take off this back page here. And then, as I said, what we can do in a future live is we can create the page that goes behind it, because I think that's what, I'll show you what I mean. I think that's very interesting when we do stuff like that. Right, so I'm going to take this off. So this is the very technical way in which I measure. Thank you, Bex. I am going to literally pop that to the edge there. See, once it's kind of in situ, it works quite well, doesn't it? If you imagine that's kind of blue, like if we create a second page behind it, that the two pages work together. So I'm just going to pop that in situ like so, and then I'm going to flip it over and grab, see, I don't do measuring. I really don't believe in it. Anytime I measure, it goes wrong. And I'm just going to draw these circles in here. Oh man, I sounded really Invernessian there. I'm going to draw that in there like that. And then I'm going to grab my crocodile. Just dived across the room there for a second. I'm going to grab the old crocodile and just pop the holes in where I did the markings. Like that. And then again, we'll worry about this side another day as well. I quite like doing things like that, because when you it comes back to it, you've got a little bit of an interesting challenge. But I'll show you the sort of thing that we can do with it in just a minute. I think for those of you that were here last week, we did have a little bit of a look at what I meant. Let's pop that in there. faffing now. We'll pop this in here, and then we can play with that other page and see what we can do. Oops, sorry. This is proving to be very faffy. It's always when you're doing things live, these things are not that difficult. This should be like the easiest part of it, putting it in the journal. Honestly, Julia. Honestly. It's like, there we go. It's like the clip part is in the wrong place. That's what it is. Let's just get these ones, the top ones clipped in. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, sorry guys, I'm just gonna have to, there we go. Right, that did not need to be nearly as much of a meal of that as I made, but there we go. There is our shaped page, which, as I say, we will do something. Hello, Fran, how are you? So this is the shaped page here, and then in future weeks we can build it up, and you can get things like we have here. So this is a shaped page, but then it kind of turns onto this one, which is another page. And so although it kind of maybe feels a little bit random, it just gives you something really interesting to work with. So this one's not completed, but again, we could start putting some of our characters down and finish this one off as well. Hello, Louise. Lovely to have your company. Okay, so this is the page so far that we've created. And honestly, the bit that I just did there of putting the rings on is not the hardest bit. You can also see that you can art journal and everything. Look, that's just packaging. Okay, so that is page number 1 done. And let's see how we had this other one drying. So we'll pop that to the side for just now. So this was the one where we just added the watercolor and let it do its own thing. It's still a little bit damp there. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much. It's a little bit damp, so I'm going to waft it with a heat gun. For those of you listening with earphones, it's going on in 3, 2, 1. And we're just going to get that nice and dry because it's slightly damp. As I said earlier, normally I would leave these things to dry naturally, but we can't when we're live. Thank you. Glad you like the page. I love how ethereal that looks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just gonna heat it from the back as well. So your page does start to curl when you start heating it. It's a bit like what I was saying before about when you are working with something that is porous like paper or MDF. It does expand and contract. So you tend to find if you heat it from both sides, you can help to sort of reduce the distortion that heating paper that occurs with heating paper, and also you can just sort of lay it under a pile of books as well. Right, so we need to chop this page down now as well. Sorry Claire, we're chopping another page, but we're not chopping into it this time. Kind of feel that I almost want to go off brand, and I think I might just do it because it's so ethereal. I have, and I can link to it, I actually bought this off Amazon, but I think it's going, as I said, this is only because I'm chopping through damp paper with texture paste on it. Normally that goes fine, but I have this book here, which is not my artwork, but it's available on Amazon. But I actually just think that some of these images, because they're just that little bit more ethereal looking than the ones that I have in front of me, that I may go with one of these instead. I think it might work. So do prepare to be watch me fussy cutting. Oh, I quite like the little mushroom houses. I think if they had something like that, but in browns, that would be fab. What do we have? We've got these little mushroom things. Well, they're all mushrooms, let's face it. Oh, that could be nice. What do we think? Do we think we should go for it? Should we break a trend and I'll actually start doing a live with products that are not mine? I like the little bridge there as well. Sorry, I'm just deciding. This is shocking. I hope it's not overly boring. See, look, they've got a caravan of mushrooms. Maybe it wasn't so weird after all. Yeah, Sharon likes this one. So I will link to this afterwards, after I've done the only thing that annoys me about this book is there is images on both sides. It seems like such a waste because you're going to have to lose half of your images. Right, let's chop this out. Yeah, I will leave a link to this. It's on Amazon. But this is the thing with your craft stash. I don't know anybody that only ever, thank you, Bex. This is as I said, is it her name or is Kirsty something? Can't see her name on the book. But I will link to it. I've used it a few times in some of my makes before, but as I was saying, that I don't know many crafters that just sit there and only use one brand. And although I am a brand, and you know, I obviously want to use my stuff, I'm the same as all of you other crafters. It's like I see gorgeous stuff and I have it, so why not use it? And I think that is, if anybody has seen the Facebook group Crafting Together with All Brands, that is completely what that whole ethos is about. I'm an admin in there. I'm not going to worry too much about absolute perfect blending, cutting here, because we can blend that out with our watercolours if we need to. But sometimes just mixing, using what you have in your stash, mixing what you've got, putting all different things. So although we all kind of maybe buy from similar brands, we've all got slightly different stuff in our stash, and it means that when we start to put things together, that is really nice, but I'm not sure if it's a bit dark now. We might have to put some blues into what's going on in the background, so we'll do that in just a second, just to tie it together. But this is the thing, when we start, we're maybe not sure quite what direction we're going to go in, so we just have to, oh, completely chopped into that mushroom. Yeah, we just have to go with the flow and adapt. Oh, that is so nice. So nice, but we're definitely having too much of a contrast. So let's, in the same watercolours that we had, there is a dark blue. This one here. So let's get some of that in here and moving it around, and then it'll marry the two together quite well. And then we can always add a few extra elements. And again, this particular page, because I'm sort of working separate out with my journal, is going to need sort of stuck in somewhere. Right. Again, this looks quite random at the minute, but once we allow the movement, we let the water hit and we allow a little bit of movement, it will look much better. Also means you're going to have to watch me dry again. I do apologise, but you know, I'm hoping it'll all be worth it in the end. So we're just going to bring that blue tone in. And now just by doing that, look, oh, so good. Just by doing that, that blends in so much better now. So once again, we're going to give this a waft with the old heat gun. So for those of you with headphones, 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to keep the heat gun away from my goodness, I wouldn't have thought to put the blue in, but how good does that look with the blue? It's really moody. Hi Equip Designs, lovely to have you with us. Sorry, you are literally now tuning in to watch paint dry. Hi Susan, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. We'll get there, sorry. It does look amazing, doesn't it? And this is very, very out with my normal colour palette and colour range. So Sharon, I am planning on starting a series on YouTube. And I'm literally going to work my way through the colour cube one sheet at a time. Because although I have bought it, I still just pull out my favourite colour. I still just pull out my favourite colours and think, well, I like that combo, I'll stick with that one. So I'm thinking that I am actually going to make a series and I'm going to work through all 500. It might be a series that lasts quite a number of years, but I'm going to do it. That just, oh, I love that now. How nice is that? Right, once again, I do think we need to just bring out the detail and the texture. So we will do that by bringing in some distressed inks again. Looking at that blue, I think we will go for a blue colour. That might be a little bit bright. What do we have? Iced spruce, that might work. It's more grey, but I think it would work. The other one's just a bit too bright, so let's go with that. And see what occurs. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in. And it just helps to add the texture. I also think, I did pull it out, but I haven't used it. I've got some of the Pretty Gets Gritty crackle paste. I think the crackle paste would work really well with this particular stencil as well. I'm just going to brush this directly on. Again, it's just to pull out the texture of that tree. It's like we've got such gorgeous texture on there, we absolutely need to make the most of it. Right. So we have that, and we have this, which I think is fab. Right, I'm gonna, sorry, this is the process. So I'm looking at this and I really like it, and this is all quite dark and it matches, but now there's, I can't see the wood for the trees. So I'm thinking that actually we might need to dry brush this with white to get a better texture. It also might balance out with this white here. So we have white here and white here, which works really well, and then it's all dark in the corner, which is good, but I think it might just sort of bring it all together if we sort of dry brush in white. Now the trouble is, because I've just put a wet medium down, I'm not sure how well we're going to get that dry brushed look using our gesso, especially as gesso is semi-transparent, but we will give it a go and see what happens. Hello flower petals, lovely to have you join us. So I'm just going to waft that. Do you know what though, it's made me really want to play so much more. I suddenly now have started playing. I wasn't really in the mood, to be honest, I'm not going to lie, because little miss isn't well again, so she was off school, and yeah, so I feel like I'm juggling 100 things, and then I was thinking, what on earth am I going to make? So I knew I was wanting to use the stencil, but I had no ideas in my head. But this is the thing, so even if you're just not feeling it, just sitting down to craft for a little while, it's so good. I honestly firmly believe that taking time out to be to craft and to be creative is so good for your overall health and well-being. And as I said, this is not where my head was when I started this, but it has really helped. Right, so for dry brushing, this is quite a new gesso, so it is very, very juicy. Probably best with a slightly drier one, but we'll go for it. So I am working the gesso, sorry for those of you on Instagram, I'm still getting used to working along with the two platforms. Right, so I'm just going to work this into the brush. And it's called dry brushing for a reason. I might actually take some of this off on my thing, on my rag. And I've got the gesso about 3/4 of the way up the brush. I'm actually going to take some of that off because it's quite excessive. And what I want to do is just, I'm going flat against this, and I'm going to work quite rapidly as well. And that is just going to catch the edges of the texture and make that a lot. We're just going to get a little bit of white to it. I don't know. Again, it's quite damp, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. I'll maybe just do this once. Allow the gesso to do its thing, because gesso is essentially a primer. So we might get it slightly brighter on the second pass. You agree 100%, Sue? Yeah. Being creative is really good for you. It's kind of dulled it back a little bit more than I wanted, but hopefully, let's just trust the process. So now when I go on, you can see just there that text just come up. That's because it's kind of, we've now got gesso sitting on gesso, so it's a bit brighter. So we're just getting that texture there. I don't want to take too much of it away because I really like the dark. So I don't know if you see what, now we've got this lighter patch here and we've got this light patch here. We've now got like our 3 points, and in design 3 works really well. And the reason the design works really well is if you go for even things like this, the brain's looking at this and this, and so it's making a comparison as to which one of these do I like best, you know. But you put a third one in and it kind of confuses the brain. It sees it all as one, and that is why artists and things often you work by the rule of 3s, and the same can work with your colorway. So without that, it was looking slightly off balance, but now that we've got a lighter patch here, a lighter patch here, and a lighter patch here, all sort of draws together as one, and it works a little bit better. So I'm just going to pop that in. I would still sort of like slightly more brightness, but I'm also kind of dulling down the tree a little bit, which is distressing me somewhat, but you know, it is what it is. There we go. I think we have contrast now though, so we can see the difference between the tree and the mushroom, which is essentially what we were aiming to do. So let's just get this stuck down, and we'll add a few different finishing touches to this page, and then yeah, that will be us for today. Right, make sure I've got my gel medium. Yep. Again, using the gel medium because we are going on texture paste, so it needs to be a little bit more robust. And we'll do a few different tricks to help draw the eye in to see the page as an overall feature. Still don't know whether to stick a little hedgehog in. Although we did have some little creatures in the book as well, so we could have a look. See, I just don't know if that's too much of a contrast to styles. I think it is. I just felt this needed something a bit darker and a bit moodier. Hello, Angela. Lovely to have you with us. Okay, so there we go. We have that. Let's just trim this. Let's see if we've got anything else in here that can just be a little bit of a feature. It needs to be dark and moody. Dark and moody. I love some of these. They're so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Yeah. I think sometimes you just need to, yeah, let's just leave it as is. Okay, let's just grab in our blending mat again, and I'm going to just bring a little bit of colour around all the edges, and hopefully that should just help to draw the eye in. A little bit of doodleage, you know, we need a little bit of doodleage. So let's let's just bring this colour in here. I think it will help to make it really nice and moody. So I think this paper, I don't want to take too much away of that lightness because we've just worked to balance all of that out. So let's not erase it completely, but we'll just sort of darken the edges somewhat just to draw the eye in. Okay, again, another trick to draw the eye in. Let's get our pen. And as I said, this will get inserted into a journal page somewhere. I'm not quite sure which journal it'll end up finding a home in. Right, so I'm going to take that around here. I feel it needs some text as well. Hello, Jandy. Jandy 500. Lovely to have you with us. Right. There we go. Oh my goodness, the 2 pages that we have done are so different. Right, this is just floating. I don't cope well with just floating. Let's ground it. It's so important to ground your images. It makes all the difference in the world. So let's bring that blue paint back in. She says, looking for a clean paintbrush. So I'm just going to let's just make this look like it's not floating. It will be so much better if it's not floating. Oh, that's much better. I'm going to soften that edge a little bit. And I'm thinking we need splatters, but what colour splatter should we have? Got these sort of bronzy goldy. I'm thinking maybe that. Right, but we will need to just protect. Let's just protect our mushroom. I kind of want it to have some sort of shape of the mushroom, otherwise the splatters, it will look so random. Right, I'm going to take, trying to decide which one, this one, I think this one's quite metallic. So this one's kind of like an autumny sort of colour, but it's also really quite metallic as well. And I think a few splatters will be what this needs, just to add to that sort of ethereal look. Okay, that's pretty cool. Might just allow a few to go on the mushroom, otherwise it looks like, why the splatter suddenly stopped there. Okay, I like it. I'm actually going to put just a couple, this might be a bit brave, I'm going to put just a few of the blue as well, just to balance it out a little bit. Hello, is it Baladensi Scrap? At least I'm doing better this week. I've got new glasses so I can actually see. I was really struggling to see the comments last time, so ooh, like. Right, let's just waft this. Sorry, I feel like all you've been doing this evening is watch me waft things dry. And then I think it needs a sentiment. It needs a sentiment, and it needs some doodleage. Just gonna touch this paint. I'm just gonna grab a bit of water because it's not quite reached the base there, so let's just pull it down. Hello Barb, how are you? Thank you, Carol. I will link to this book because I realise this is not on brand. We're just sort of wing it today. But yeah, it's on Amazon. So if you check my Facebook group, so that's the Crazy Craft Hive, I will put a link to it. It will be an affiliate link, so I have to say that. I'm legally required to say that. I will put a link in my Facebook group, on my Instagram stories, and in the comments or in the description box on YouTube. It may just take me an hour or so to do it because I am going out for a walk with my friend straight after this, but I will get on it, I promise. I will get it to you by the end of this evening. Right, let's grab a black pen and we will just do our doodly border. Do you ever make something that's really not you and not your style at all, but you're so pleased with it because it's like, this is so different? I feel like I've done something different. Do you know what? I'm not going to put words on it. I was going to put words on it, but actually I really like that as is. So let me just clear the decks so that we can see both makes from this evening. Thank you ever so much for joining me. It's lovely to have your company. So we do this every Monday night at 8 o'clock. So do tune in. And yeah, we will have some more fun next week. Right, there's messed my desk up. There we go. We have one page there, and then let's bring in the other one, which is at the back of my journal now. So same stencil, same start. Oh, it's because there's a, let's do it this way. I need to move the rings around, that's why I was having problems. Okay, so this one here, we've used the exact same stencil, we put paint on it, we used the exact same paint, and we've got a gorgeous sort of, let's go through that, a gorgeous stylized cartoony one there, and then we have this gorgeous ethereal one. So it just shows how different you can make, you know, with the same stencil, same paints, two very, very different results. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for everything, and I will see you guys again next week. So until then, take care, happy crafting, and goodbye, she says.